Hello, welcome back to Big Mood. Today we are dealing with a heavier topic. It could go heavy. Or it could be light, depending on if you're from Mexico or not, Tiff.
Oh my gosh. Right? It will depend on that.
Who's here? I'm Nikki.
I'm Tiff.
I'm Jess.
I'm Gina.
And we are Big Mood. And today is a big mood.
Today is a big sad mood.
It's a somber mood.
I feel like at this point, it's been a while since... I mean, because we pre-record a lot of our episodes, but like Kobe recently.
Dude, I'm currently mourning.
Yeah.
Like I feel it, like it's heavy in my heart. And I didn't know like how much it would actually affect me because it's been rough, man. It's been like a good week, I think.
Yeah, because I feel like I didn't really follow basketball, so
Neither
I felt like it wasn't going to affect me that much, but it really has. And the entire freaking city feels like it's underwater right now.
It really does. And then seeing everyone with the purple and gold, like just on my way over here, I saw like a motorcycle guy. He had a Lakers jersey, and then someone else like in their car, I could see that they had a Lakers jersey too. And I'm just like, oh.
Even the buses on their scrolling marquee, it says R.I.P. Kobe on it all over LA.
The liquor store next to my house says R.I.P. Kobe, and I'm kind of like, that's great, but also you're a liquor store. It's a little weird.
So many.
They said Lakers store.
A liquor
and I was
store.
like, Lakers store.
No, liquor store.
Yeah.
But yeah, just like literally every business in LA is like full of Kobe stuff.
It was crazy too because the next day after it happened, so you know how it happened on Sunday morning. On Monday, Casey had a meeting with our business manager, and they go to this cafe that we always go to. And when they got there, the lady was like closing up, and she was like, yeah, you know, there's like this. There are other restaurants around the city that we all agreed like we're just gonna close, and it's, you know,
Spend
so we
time
could
with
all
their families.
we could all be mourning Kobe, like for Kobe. And so, but then when Casey showed up, he was like, oh yeah, no, it's because we were gonna meet, but yeah, we totally get it. And so she ended up bringing up bringing out a pot of coffee for them to still meet outside, like in the outside
nice.
seating. And so every time someone was trying to come in, like Casey was explaining to people like, oh yeah, they closed because, you know,
But we're just sitting here.
Yeah, like
crazy that people are closing their business for Kobe.
Yeah, he really impacted a lot of the city. So it got us thinking about just like how we've dealt with death in our own lives. And I know people have different coping mechanisms, and people have different experiences with losing someone. And I feel like on my end, it's been pretty light. I feel like, well, knock on wood, I'm very grateful that I've kept everyone close to me. But like I've lost a few grandparents, but I was already kind of disconnected from them by the time they passed. Like my grandma had Alzheimer's, and I felt like when she was alive but couldn't recognize me was more painful and hurtful than when she passed. It was like
lost her as she's still here.
Yeah, to lose somebody while they're still living is an insane experience, because it was like I had all these memories of my grandma and she had none of me anymore. And to make matters worse, she thought she was super young when she had Alzheimer's, and so she would flirt with like my brother and my grandpa and like she'd flirt with everybody. And she saw me as a threat. She thought that I was gonna try to steal my brother. Yeah, and so she'd always kick me out of the house.
Oh, yeah. She thought you were really pretty.
I guess.
Oh my
so.
gosh.
But she kicked me out of the house a few times, and it really hurt. Because
that does hurt.
Yeah, but
It's also, to me, it's like it's a little bit funny. It's a little bit funny. Just like, oh, you hussy.
And the way she would do it too, like she would clearly be talking to my grandpa and being like, I don't like her. Get her out. And then she'd look at me and she'd go, hi. Wow.
Grandma was a two-faced bitch.
Yeah, dude, mental illness right in your face.
Hi, how are you?
That's hilarious.
That is so funny.
You just tell him to kick me out.
Yeah, that's so weird.
But the last time I saw her, she hugged me and she said, this one's mine.
Aww.
And yeah, so
She got you confused with someone else. She still hates you.
Oh my god, she knows it's you too.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's like it's hurtful, but like you look back on it, it's like this is kind of fucking funny, Grandma. Like
That's so sweet.
And one time she told me that she thought my grandpa was the guy that owns the buildings. And she's like, yeah, that guy, he owns the buildings. He's rich, but I think he wants to have sex with me.
Oh my god.
And I told him he's too old.
That's so funny.
Like, oh my god.
I've always always wondered what happens when they like see themselves in the mirror. And see
Oh,
what they've
that
aged.
too. She'd fight with the old lady in the mirror in the bathroom that would steal her stuff.
Wow.
So she would see this old lady in the bathroom with all of her rings on and like her
Oh.
jewelry, and she'd be like, "Give those back to me. Those aren't yours."
Interesting.
Wow.
Oh, what a mind fuck, dude.
Yeah.
Like she's
Right.
like yelling in the mirror at herself.
Yeah.
Alzheimer's is scary, dude.
Dude, just
That's
take
fucking
me
terrifying.
out. If
Yeah,
I have
same.
Alzheimer's, just fucking let me go.
Yeah,
Take me to
same.
Switzerland or wherever they allow the assisted suicide and just take me
Yeah.
out. I do not want to live through that. That is so crazy.
Same. I want to have
Yeah.
like a waiver like way in advance. Like, you
Yeah.
know.
Or they have all those like I forgot what the form is, but it's like
Affidavits.
do not resuscitate or like all this
Oh,
other stuff.
right.
But I want it to be like Alzheimer's immediately
Yeah.
take me out, you know?
Even the slight hint of
Yeah,
it. Like,
yeah.
if I forget what I
Please
came into the room
execute.
and walk into the room, forgot what I was getting, just fucking kill me there.
Yeah.
Dude, that happens to me on the daily.
Yeah, I'm like, should I be dead already?
Immediate execution.
Sometimes
man.
I'm just like, sometimes Steve like surprises me and he's like, "You've been standing there for 45 minutes zoning out to
Oh,
nowhere."
wow.
I'm like, "What?" It's like,
He's
"Yeah,
just
it's literally
daydreaming.
been 45 minutes of
Damn.
you
He's,
Like
staring."
timing you.
You have like early dementia.
I like how he doesn't stop you. He just sits there for like 45 minutes, just like.
He's just exaggerating to make you seem crazy so that you feel like you need him so that you can never leave him.
Yeah.
I've got
so
you
funny.
figured out,
Fucking
Steve
gaslighting
Green.
me.
Yeah.
Right?
Damn. No, that reminds me too of so my grandpa passed. He was 70 when he passed, and then this was back in like 2013, 12, 11. Oh man, I can't really remember. But when he was in the hospital, he had gotten like a catheter put in, which is like, you know, like the tube in your urethra, which is where you pee. And
Yeah, I've always wondered how that fucking works, and I just.
oh, dude, I felt it when they took it out after I had. Oh, it was crazy. Anyway, so he ends up saying, like, I went to go visit him and in the hospital, and he's like grabbing my hand. He's like, "Mija, your grandma told the doctor that she told them it's her fault." And I was like, "What? What happened?" And he was like, "Your grandma chopped it off. She doesn't want me to ever use it. She chopped it off." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "My thing, it's gone. It's not here anymore, Mika. I can't feel it anymore. It's not there." And I'm like, "Oh my god!" I thought it was so funny. He's like, he's like panicking that his wiener got chopped off, but it's because
He
he had
couldn't feel it?
He said that.
Yeah, the
but
catheter.
It's the catheter.
Wait, so like you can't feel it if the catheter's in? Does it like go
Probably
numb? or
numb you
something?
out or
I think
something?
maybe
Yeah.
I don't know what happened, but that just reminded
That's
me.
so funny that he just immediately is like, your grandma, she fucking cut it off.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Like,
Maybe
Maybe
he
he
felt-
any other
Yeah.
bitches.
If he felt pain there, maybe she thought that it was from getting cut
Yeah.
off.
yeah.
Possibly.
Which is
Oh,
pretty
it's
funny.
Probably stings.
But no, it's crazy because in that same hospital when I went to go visit my grandpa, like that's where he had passed sometime after that. And this is in TJ, so you know, unless you have a lot of money, you don't get the best healthcare. And so because he didn't have heart monitors on because he had emphysema. He was a smoker, so he had like lung issues, and he ended up passing from a heart attack because
wow.
they weren't monitoring his heart. But in that same hospital recently, my cousin passed, and that's because he had a brain tumor and they didn't know that he had it.
Oh my God.
And it was so big that they decided to operate on it. But again, because it's not the best healthcare, he didn't really recover. And it was like the most heartbreaking thing ever because he's like we're close in age. So every time I'd go to TJ, he was like the sweetest. He always had this smile on his face. And he actually loved watching everything that I was doing on YouTube. And he would always like support, and he would always show the videos to his son too, which he left a son. And so when I went to go see him, he was like pretty much paralyzed, like a vegetable. And it was just really hard to see a family member like that, especially someone you grew up with. And like, I don't
Especially
know.
so young too, because you don't expect
So
it. It's like
young.
shocking. If he was 85, you'd be like, okay, I get it, you know. But like
Yeah.
him being so young,
he
it's,
was younger than me too.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know,
it kind of makes you reflect on your own mortality too. I think that's why it's so shocking, because you're like, oh my God, can I be in this situation where
Yeah.
you don't normally think that way? You just expect to be 85 and then like kicking dust, you know. But like when you see someone so young, it's just feels
Yeah.
so weird. Like in your body, it feels weird to see that.
exactly.
It was like that wasn't supposed to happen.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like, you were living in a different reality.
right.
Yeah.
Exactly. It was just, I don't know. It was really rough. I think that loss has been, I think the way I cope with with loss of family members is when I find out, I cry it out and I kind of put it in a box. I don't know if that's me having dealt with it or me not dealing with it, but that's kind of how I've dealt with when people around me have passed. So I don't know. Like I don't know how to fully mourn, I guess.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how it's supposed to feel. Like I don't know how to deal
I know
with
what
it.
you mean. Like, cause that's kind of how I feel too. Or like sometimes, because it's been so long since I saw my grandma, like in the way that I remember her, it had been 10 years since I saw her healthy from the time she passed to like the last time I saw her healthy. So in my mind, like she was already gone, or like I hadn't seen her. So it was almost like I can put her over here. Like she's living in her house still over here, right? Because I already wasn't seeing her. So when she passed, it was like she's still there. But then I'll have dreams where she's her normal self again, and she'll hug me, and I'll just start bawling, and I'll just be bawling in my dream and like wake myself up crying. And I think it's because my body just hasn't processed it yet. Like I'm just in denial, and then like the dreams make me have to confront that I lost.
And that's actually what they say. The reason why we dream is because that's our subconscious dealing with our day-to-day problems or issues or whatever. But I completely relate to that too, because when I was 14, I had this classmate who had died because he was involved in like gang affiliation stuff
In Mexico,
No, in Downey.
Gina.
And but I was
basically Mexico.
No, but listen, I was living in Mexico when I found out.
Oh shit.
So
he's on the ofrenda.
Oh fuck! Well, me too.
yeah, so when I found out, like I found out through my best friend because we were talking on the phone when I was out there, and she tells me like, yeah, Danny passed, like he got killed, and I'm like, what? Like that was the first death I had ever dealt with, and like my whole world, like it was fucking crazy. I just could not wrap my head around that this child got killed, and it was so crazy. But that night, I was crying so much, and I ended up dreaming of Danny, and when he popped in my dream, it was like heaven and clouds and stuff, and he was telling me like Tiff, it's okay, like I'm good, don't worry, like I'm in a good place, like don't worry about me. And I ended up getting sleep paralysis because I was
hate that.
Yeah, so when my eyes were closed, I saw him, and I opened my eyes and I couldn't move, but I saw the ceiling of the room that I was in, and I was just like, what is happening right now? And so I closed my eyes and I see Danny, and I'm trying to tell him, like, I guess for me, and I felt like I could still save him. Like I was back in time, and I was trying to prevent his death, and like telling him like, no, don't go out, like stay in your house, like this day, just stay in your house. But he was telling me, it's okay, I'm gone, and you can let go, it's all right. And I just, for many years, like I really felt strongly like that was Danny's spirit. Like he legit visited me and put me at ease.
Yeah, that's what happened to me too. So the first person I ever lost when I was like 14 years old, it was my cousin Simon, and it was the four of us that grew up together. Every summer we spent here in LA. I would come from Northern California to LA, and it was me, Simon, Nancy, Sandy, and it was four cousins. He was the only boy, and like he used to like play video games, and we would watch him. He'd name all the characters after us and stuff. It was really cute. And then so when I was 14, I get a call from my mom, and she's like, hey, he was not 18, 19. She was like, hey, so Simon passed away. He was riding a motorcycle, which to this day I am very much against motorcycles.
God, seriously.
And these two cars were racing, and one of them clipped him and took off. And so he flew off, landed on top of another car, and he was pretty much a vegetable, and they had to pull the plug on him. And then it was really weird. So I remember my mom telling me, and I was just like, oh okay. And then I just sat there. I'm like, all right. No.
How old are you when this happened?
14. And this is like my first loss. And then it wasn't until like 30 minutes later, when I was sitting there, I was like, oh, fuck, wait, no, this is someone that I spent a lot of time with. Like, this is like my childhood growing up, like water fights in the summer and walking to Target and stuff, you know? And then that's when I fucking just cried and I lost my mind. And then I called my mom back, and then a part of me felt bad. Like, I'm sorry I didn't cry earlier when you told me. because I didn't know how to react. And this time I called her and I was crying. I was like, Mom, I have to go to that funeral. So she takes me down to Southern California. We go to the funeral, and that's when I'm like crying a lot. And then we come back here, and then in like a week or two, I left. I was living with my dad's side of the family at the time, and I left them because I fucking hated them. And then I moved in with my mom. And then I remember, so in Chinese tradition, you burn things for them so that they can have it in the afterlife, right? So we'd have like paper Mercedes models and paper money and like stuff like that. So it's a Chinese tradition. And thinking about that, I wrote a letter to Simon, and then I burned it for him. And then I remember coming home from school one day, and I just stood in front of my bed, and I just like fell forward and I fell asleep. Like I was in the middle of changing into my at-home clothes, and in the middle of it, I just fell forward and I just fell asleep completely.
What the hell?
Yeah, and then I dreamt that I was in like a big white room. I was like in one corner, and there was a door in that corner on the diagonal side. And then Simon walked in, and then like I ran to him. I was like, "Holy shit, dude, what's up?" And then like I hugged him, and then I felt his heartbeat, or I heard his heartbeat, and then I remember feeling his arm. He was warm, like he just felt normal. And I looked up at him. I was like, "What does this mean? Like, does it mean that you're alive or something?" And he looked at me. He goes, "Yeah, I'm okay. Like, don't worry. Like, you don't have to worry anymore. I'm good. Like, don't cry anymore, okay?" And I'm like, "Okay." And then he disappeared, and then I just woke up, and I ran to my mom's room. I was like, "Mom, I just saw Simon!" And then, like, I told her what happened, and then from that point on, it just felt like, okay. And I really felt like Simon came to visit me, because I was having such a hard time dealing with my first death. And then, like, years later, when I was, like, 23, I think I told you guys a story about how I went to go speak to a medium. And I don't really believe in shit like that. But then, like, while I was sitting there, he goes, "Hey, there's someone here that wants to talk to you. He's, like, a teenage boy. And, like, he died in public. And it was, like, a really tragic death. And by the time the ambulances came, he was already dead." And I was just like, okay. And I knew who it was. But I know. And then I didn't want to say who it was, because I didn't want, like, this is a fucking
Yeah, you don't want him to, like, grab any details and, like...
Yeah. And then so he's like, yeah. And he said that him and his dad had a little nickname for you when you were a kid, like Little Piggy. And I was like, oh, fuck. And then I just, like, lost my shit, because they used to call me Chula, which in Cantonese mean piggy.
Oh, in Spanish it's chula.
Oh, really?
Like, no. Chula is like cute girl.
Oh, okay.
Like, that's cute.
Okay, I prefer that one. Sorry.
Piggy.
Shit. So I was just like, and I went into like fucking full like panic mode. I was like, well, what do you mean?
Dude, where's this guy at?
He's from the UK. He's friends with my hairstylist, and he's like a celebrity medium. Like he's like Mickey Rourke's like main medium. They fly him out all the time and shit.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And there's no way he would have known that.
There's no way. I've never spoken about Simon. And he goes, yeah, that was the nickname he gave you. And also, so when he died, you wrote him a letter, didn't you? I was like,
Whoa.
yes. He goes, he just wanted you to know that he read the letter because he was standing right next to you when you wrote it.
Oh
and
my
he was reading
gosh.
it.
Creepy.
Yeah. And then he's like, and one of your cousins, one of the girls had a dog, and it was my cousin Nancy, who had a Rottweiler that passed away. And he's like, can you tell her that, you know, the dog's up here with him and he's perfectly fine. They hang out together and it's chill. And then so I told my cousin, and she started crying. And he goes, and also he wants to pass on a message. Tell his brothers and sisters, congrats on the baby, congrats on the new house, and tell mom and dad to take down the pictures of him. There's way too many in the house.
Wow.
So afterwards, I called up his sister. I'm like, hey, is someone pregnant? And she goes, yeah, why? I was like, ooh, shit, you might want to sit down for this one.
Damn.
And I told her what's like, I'm like, did someone buy a house? She's like, yeah, his brother bought a house. I was like, oh, fuck. So here's what happened. And like, she's like bawling her eyes out. I'm like, do you guys have a lot of pictures of him in the house? She's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, you need to take a few down. It makes him kind of uncomfortable. And they just, it was really fucking
Wow.
crazy. He named like 2 people that I've known that passed away, down to like nicknames that they've given me. It's fucking scary. And then he like stopped in the middle of the reading and was like, do you have like a woman that passed away? And then I was like, no, like anyone that's ever passed away was just a male. And he goes, is there someone here by the name of Lorelei? And it's one of the, because we were doing a reading. It's a hair salon, but on the other side there's a cafe connected to it. And he's like, is there someone named Lorelei? I'm like, yeah, that's actually the hairstylist over there. He goes, okay, I'll be right back. And he went over to that side to the salon. He goes, hey, Lorelei. And then she's like, yeah. He's like, do you have a sister? She's like, yes. But he's like, yes, she passed away, didn't she? She's here and she wants to talk to you. And Lorelei just dropped her comb and just like fucking cried too. It was terrifying, dude.
Whoa.
But it was like really, like it felt good.
Yeah.
You know?
You get closure from it.
Yeah, and then he was also like, hey, so whatever you want to do in the future, I suggest that you go into hosting. Like hosting a show, hosting something. Here I am. Here. I know, right? Sounds
That's so
fucking
crazy.
terrible.
I always see those ones on TV and they seem like such fraudsters, but I'd be so curious to meet a real person and like, because I don't really believe any of that stuff.
Me neither. Yeah.
But like, you know, when my mom passed away, I had a similar experience with the dreaming stuff. So like, I was in and out of sleep the morning. It was supposed to be like, I was supposed to go visit her that last day. I already knew she was like in a kind of in a induced coma or whatever. So I knew she didn't have much time left actually alive, but she was already pretty much gone. But then I was in and out of sleep that morning before I was supposed to go back to the hospital, and I dreamt of her, and she was kind of like, I'm okay, blah, 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 like telling me that kind of stuff. And then by the time I got ready to go to the hospital, like she had already passed. So I kind of felt like she was telling me in my sleep, like, it's okay, like you didn't make it in time, but it's still okay. But I remember the night before, and this is the weird supernatural stuff that I like never believed in before until I kind of saw it with my own eyes, and I was like, am I seeing things? Because I've always been such a science person, so it was so weird. But as I was sitting there, my mom at one point, she was on a breathing machine, and I was like, maybe it's just the breathing machine, I don't know. But I was watching her, and I was talking to her, and I was crying and doing all this stuff. And then at one point, this like white mist like left her mouth and shot into the room. Almost like, I was like, was that her fucking spirit leaving her body? I swear to God, it was the creepiest shit ever. I almost had a panic attack because I was sitting there just holding my mom as she was like in a coma. And then all of a sudden this white, like, it just like went into the air. And I was just like, what the actual fuck? Like that scared the shit out
That's wild.
scared the shit out of me.
You know what else is white and feels really misty and comfy? Buffy comforter. I love Buffy. It's like a cloud.
Worst transitions ever.
It's like my spirit leaves my body.
You ever wonder what the spirits feel like when they're just hanging out in the clouds up there? Well, you
like
can
a
feel it
Buffy.
now.
Yourself a Buffy so you could feel it. So no, but seriously, Buffy makes the world's most comfortable bedding ever. Everything is made from ultra smooth eucalyptus fiber that feels softer than cotton. It's just like it's incredible. I don't even know how it's an earthly substance. But eucalyptus fiber is breathable and cool to the touch to help maintain the ideal sleeping temperature and feel cozy without overheating. So all you sweaters, all you heathens that sweat in your sleep, making all those sheets all yellow. Yeah, well, you don't have to do that if you have a Buffy comforter. Keeps you cool at night. Customers love Buffy. Their products have almost 20,000 5-star reviews. I'm one of those. Plus an overall average rating of 4.6 stars. Believe the hype. I cannot imagine another night in a different comforter because I love my Buffy comforter so much. But
Dude,
Buffy,
I haven't been able to sleep in my bed the same since sleeping in yours.
right?
With the Buffy sheets and
The
everything.
duvet cover.
So you guys got everything and me and Jess can't even get a fucking blanket?
No,
we
I
didn't
got
get
those other things separately.
No, it's because, okay, I do have the Buffy comforter, but I put it in a different duvet cover. So it's not like the premium experience that Nikki gets.
Yeah.
I got to get the duvet
The
cover.
premium experience is the shit. So Buffy offers a free trial. You can try a comforter in your own bed for free. If you don't love it, you can return it at no cost. For $20 off your Buffy comforter, visit buffy.co and enter mood. Once again, that's $20 off your Buffy comforter. Visit buffy.co and enter mood.
And you know what else is great? Saving money.
I love saving money.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, right? Do you guys do a lot of online shopping?
Hell yeah.
I only shop online, I think.
Only when I'm sad, which is all the time.
So I'm sure you guys have tried this, right? Honey? Have you
Yes.
tried Honey? Who've heard of
Yes,
it?
I have the app on my phone.
Oh, yeah, so do I. So, Honey is a free online shopping tool that saves you money online. So, Honey automatically finds the best promo codes and applies them to your cart. So, when you're shopping on one of your favorite sites like Target, Best Buy, Sephora, Macy's, when you check out, this little box drops down and all you have to do is click click apply coupons. You wait a few seconds for it to scan for every promo code on the internet, and then that's when you see the prices drop. So it's an extension that you can add to your browser. And so for me personally, I've been loving this. I also do a lot of online shopping, and it saves me so much money. So the last time I think I was shopping at Victoria's Secret to get some more wardrobe for our set here, and it legit saved me like $50. It was insane.
Oh, dang. You got lucky that day.
Yeah, I did. So Honey has found its over 18 million members, over $2 billion in savings. So not using Honey is literally passing up free money. It's free to use and installs in just 2 clicks. So get Honey for free at joinhoney.com/mood. That's joinhoney.com/mood.
Save that money.
Save monies.
So your
She
mom's
spirit vaped.
You saw her
Wow.
spirit.
Yeah, and I immediately Googled that. Well, after I calmed down, I think it was like the next day, I Googled it and I was like, has anyone seen like a white mist leave a person like as they're dying? And there was other people that were talking about it. So I don't know if that's some physiological thing, maybe a doctor or
Like
some
sort of like body gas or
yeah,
something.
something. But I was just like, in the moment, it made me feel like I watched her spirit leave her body, which was so fucking weird. And then I sort of left shortly thereafter because I was like, I think she's gone. Like, I don't know. It was just this weird feeling. Like I could have just been reacting to something that's totally natural. But yeah, that was one of the first times I felt like, whoa, is the spirit actually real? Because I've always kind of been this sort of like skeptic, like science, like, oh, like consciousness is just like whatever. Like, I don't believe in heaven or hell or any of this other stuff. But then at that moment, I was just like, whoa, this is weird.
I'm just an agnostic where like I just feel like
kind of like that too.
yeah, like I am very comfortable admitting that, like I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
Yeah.
open to anything
Yeah.
because nothing's been proven or disproven or anything. So if you were like, if there became solid proof that's like there is zero afterlife and everybody just dies and then you go into the earth and that's it, then I'd be like, okay.
Yeah,
And
seems cool.
if people were like, oh, there's solid proof that you go to this other place, I'm like, all right.
That's cool too.
Yeah,
for me-
I'd probably roll with any of it.
For me, like I feel like because of like the scientific findings of the fact that there is energy, that's a fact,
And that we're made of
There's
energy.
and we're made of energy. Like to me, it's just really hard to believe that energy just dissipates.
Disappears.
It's gonna go somewhere. I don't know where, but
That's
it's
how I
going
feel,
somewhere.
too.
I'm very,
And there's
like,
also scientists that have like had like died, like technically their heart stopped for like a couple minutes or whatever, and they claim to have seen something beyond, like some sort of after place,
Like
and
a chemical reaction that could be explained like scientifically too,
Yeah.
But
Just like brain chemical reaction.
I just think of it as like, I don't know. I'm very much on the fence because I'm a very like sciencey person too, and I didn't believe in it until and then like when I went to that guy, I was like, all right, you
yeah, that
fucking
meeting
hack.
really throws a wrench in
Yeah.
the plan. Like, I would kind of want to experience that myself because that would really change my mind. Because
Yeah.
like, if he could tell me about something that I haven't told anyone, because I've lost about 5 family members and then 1 friend from high school, and if he just brought up like some shit that I've never said on camera, I would be like, oh my
Yeah.
god, I
no,
believe
but
you
that
now.
actually solidifies my my beliefs or whatever, because I do feel like that energy is somewhere, and so
Yeah.
he's learned how to tap into the energy. I don't know. I really feel like our spirits are energy that still is gonna live somewhere in this universe. It
I
doesn't
just
have to
can't
be on
imagine
Earth.
them like fucking just hanging out somewhere.
Yeah, I don't
like,
wanna
I feel like it'd
fucking
have to
hang
go
out.
somewhere.
it could probably be omnipresent, where like they're not just like literally hanging out like how we are in our realm.
Yeah.
Like if you're here, you can't be there.
It's just
Yeah.
like it's in the fucking hard drive somewhere.
yeah. And you could
So,
tap into it.
It's so a part of me is just like, okay, that's such a fucking hack. Like that's so fake and that's so stupid. But then at the same time, like there's histories and stories of this like dating all the way back to like all generations. Every generation, I'm sorry, every civilization had stories of like ghosts and spirits and stuff like that. So it's like if it's been around for that long, it has to be something.
I can't go down that road though, because I'm always like, well, people were just dumb.
There were people who were dumb too, you know?
Yeah, like they didn't know like that the Earth was round, and they didn't know like what stars were, and they didn't know like all this other stuff.
Yeah.
So for me to think, even with religion too, like people are like, oh well, it's been around for 1,000 years. I'm like, no, that doesn't mean anything to me.
I wouldn't even label it as dumb either. I would just label it as like that was their interpretation of what we now know.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a different interpretation, because things that we now interpret today, like thousands of years from today, they're gonna look at us like, oh, they interpreted it that way, but this is how we now interpret this stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And then I've also a part of me like it's weird. Sometimes I feel like shit for it, and then and then I realize like this is probably how I just deal with death, and I don't like to visit it. I don't visit graves ever. Like,
Yeah, neither do I.
I never have either.
Exactly. Like when Simon passed away, this was like fucking when I was like 14. I've only visited once and I never went back. And a part of me feels like, am I a shit person? Like, do I not care?
No,
You know?
that's just their body, or like the earthly embodiment of them. Like that's really their spirit, their soul, or whatever you want to call it. Like that they're not there with that body, so that I don't think that means anything. Because like when my mom passed away, we got her cremated because she didn't have any like life insurance or anything like that, and I couldn't afford a $5,000 burial or whatever, so we had to get her cremated. But I had her ashes sent to my dad's house, and I was supposed to go back to my dad's house to spread the ashes, and I was like, this is going to be my final thing. Like I kind of spent my life like trying to like be with her as best as I could, and I was the only one there when she passed away, and I'm going to be the one there to spread her ashes and all of that. I could never do it. I literally never did it. Her ashes sat at my dad's house for like 6 months, like because he was waiting for me to come back to do it, and I just could never do it. And then finally I went back. I spent like a week with my dad. We did all this stuff, and I just still couldn't do it. And then so I just finally said, like, can you do it for me? Like, I don't think he even wanted to either, but he did it for me. And so I was just like, oh, thank God. But then I'm like, I don't feel like I'm a bad person because I couldn't be the one to do it.
Yeah, you know how you're saying like like visiting a cemetery, like that's like their remains, like that, like you're saying, like there's like no soul there or anything left. That's kind of how I feel, and I'm sorry if I'm gonna offend anyone. I hope I don't. This is just my personal beliefs. That's kind of how I feel about religion and like certain like holy like churches or whatever it is. Like I personally do not believe that you need to go to a building to connect to the higher being or whatever that you believe in. Because for me, I guess I'm agnostic to, I don't know what to label it, but I do believe there's a higher being out there, and it could be just a simple fact that it's the universe or whatever it is. I don't know if it's like a single presence or whatever. But if there is, I don't believe that I can't connect to it, like to that.
Whenever I need to.
Like, yeah, just on your own.
Yeah.
You're talking about you don't need to go to like a priest to confess your sins,
Exactly.
like how Catholics do.
Or go to church every Sunday or whatever it is. I mean, I'm not knocking on it. I'm just saying personally, I don't believe that you have to physically go somewhere, you know?
I feel like a dark ass energy around a lot of churches. And I think it's just because a lot of people like feel so guilty and like they're sinners and stuff when they go in there. I don't know what it is, but it feels like just a heavy energy for most churches that I've been to, especially Catholic ones.
I never felt like
Catholic ones freak me out.
better energy.
Ones, yeah.
I remember my ex-boyfriend, he was like a very religious guy, and like this is like when we were like, he was gonna propose, and we were like getting really serious into it, and he was just like, it would mean a lot to me if like you went to church with me. And I'm like, all right, cool, you know, let's go check it out. And it was just like, we went to this church. For me, I don't believe in building very luxurious houses of worship for your God. Like that's just so,
That's what it is. Houses of
disgusting
worship
to me, you know? So like I don't believe in monuments like that. And then so when we went to the church, I was like, okay, cool, I'm gonna listen to this guy speak for a little bit. But it wasn't. It was a guy giving like a sermon or some shit at a remote place, and they're all watching it on TVs.
Oh.
So I'm like, you guys went to this big ass building to watch TV.
A guy on TV.
Dude, that reminds me, we went to this club because the people we were with, they wanted to see this DJ perform, and they were like headlining it, like this DJ's gonna be there and blah blah blah. We get there, and you have to pay to go into this club to see this DJ, and it's just a TV screen. Yeah, it was so funny.
So I was sitting there, and like I'm just looking around at all these people. I'm like, you guys do realize you're fucking watching someone on TV, right? Like we could have done this at home. I woke my ass up at 7 a.m. and put on a cardigan for this bullshit, you know? So like it was just I couldn't do it. Like I I like the aspect of religion in a way where people use it to guide themselves, and you know, if it keeps them going, then great, whatever. You know?
Also, it provides organization for
A community.
society.
Yeah. So that's cool.
Like, let's not
but-
murder
morals.
each other. Yeah.
Yeah, and I also think that like humans naturally want to be part of something bigger than themselves,
Yeah.
and like they feel more purpose in that. And for people that haven't found that elsewhere, a lot of times churches or religions will be that for them, which is something that's an aspect I really do like. What I don't like is when people use it to feel better than other people.
Oh, yeah.
Like if you're not in my group, then
Yeah.
you're
Karen.
you're terrible.
Your
Or-
Cinnabons are fucking disgusting, Karen. Nobody likes it. But so for me, another way that I deal with death is also, since I'm not very a religious person, I feel like I'm very lucky. Like, yeah, they passed away, but now I have like a spirit watching over me that really cares for me, you know?
like a little guardian angel.
Yeah. Like, oh, you actually give a shit about me. Like, you know, like just not like some random general dude that's assigned to like 700 people, you know?
Just a random angel.
Yeah, public defender. Like,
I think you have that guy too.
yeah. Oh, he sucks. He shows up in a suit that's too
Your
big.
friends are all like, yo, I want to talk to my friend. He's like, no. It's a $5 cover.
So it's like, so yeah, like it's cool. Like I have this little, like this dude that's hanging out there, and I'm like,
Do you ever speak to people you lost?
all the time? So well, for me, so to this day, I struggle with like if I were to drive, like if I'm driving, and I drive past an accident, and it happens to be a motorcycle, I must pull over. I will have a full blown panic attack, and I have to call one of the cousins that we grew up with, and just like, and just like cry, you know, like I don't like motorcycles, and then so. When that happens, I call my cousins, and then I sit there and I kind of have a conversation with Simon, and it's just like, dude, oh my god, that was really shitty. I really wish I didn't see that, you know? Or like there are times when something's going wrong, and I don't necessarily pray, but I do talk to Simon, like, hey dude, you know, make this pregnancy test negative, and I'll be a good person.
You're trying to get Gina.
I'll be a better person.
Oh my god.
Like, I promise next time it won't happen.
Promise, dude, sorry.
He's not God, okay?
I know. Take a picture on your own. I
can't
don't
do
do
Put a
that
good
shit.
word in, but you know the things that freak me out the most, and this is also along the same vein of like me just not being able to deal with death, is like when I just like there's been a couple people where like they were classmates or coworkers that I haven't seen in a few years, but one that really fucked me up last month was like it was getting ready for the holidays, right? And like everyone's got their Facebook pictures and holiday stuff, and this one girl from my high school that I also worked with, she was pregnant and she was like so excited to have this baby, and she's posting all these pictures, and she was due around Christmas time, and so it was like, finally I'm gonna get to be a mom, and she passed away giving birth.
And
that never happens too. Like, I mean, how?
Yeah, right?
And yeah, and for it
nowadays-
to happen to someone that like I actually know, because
Yeah.
I've
saw
seen
the
those
buildup.
stories before, and I've actually like had some people like I followed like a bunch of random fans back in the day, and like there was one fan that had his wife passed away during childbirth, and it really freaked me out, and I followed their story because I was just so freaked out by that, that how can you like be expecting something so happy and
Yeah.
precious, and then you have the worst day of your life instead of the best day of your life, and you lose everyone close to you.
Jeez.
And then but it never happened to someone that I actually knew, and so then for it to happen to this girl who, it's not like we talked every day or anything, but
Like an
like
acquaintance.
I spent a lot of time with her when I worked with her, and so I feel like she's fresh in my mind, like I know her, and then she's all excited celebrating one day, and then the next day they're like posting memorial
Wow.
service things,
Oh my God.
and I'm like, wow, to feel like that, like the husband, feeling like you're about to have this family, and then you lose your whole family.
Wait, she lost the baby too?
Yeah, well, actually, no, that case, the baby got saved, but he lost her.
Dang.
But yeah, it was just crazy. Like you could lose like your partner.
I'm telling you, man, I'm
Yeah.
gonna get a surrogate. Oh,
I know,
God,
like
that's another
even
one
like
that's-
1% of
Yeah.
whoever dies during trial, I'm like, well, that's enough for me. I'm not gonna have a baby.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy? Ever since I was a little kid, like I always felt like I was gonna die young.
Yeah, I
And
remember you saying that.
yeah,
I felt
and
that too.
And I remember thinking, like when I found out I was pregnant, I'm like, oh, I guess this is how I go.
Oh.
Giving birth.
Oh, strange.
I actually like had these
Whoa.
thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of felt that too. That's weird. I wonder if that's like a sign of just depression or something in a child.
Probably.
Because like I knew that, and I knew some friends too. Like they would always be like, "I feel like I'm gonna die young," and I'm like, "Yeah, me too."
I actually have the answer because my therapist told me why.
What is it?
Oh.
So I told her this, right? And she says when people have experienced a lot of trauma and a lot of pain and they're really depressed, they cannot see a future. They can't see themselves in the future because they're already so down in their own hole that they can't ever imagine getting out of it. So then that's actually the way my therapist told me, like, you know what, you're good, because I finally told her in the last session we had was she asked me how do I envision my future now, and I told her, I'm like, I can really see myself with gray hair, playing with my grandkids.
Blue hair still.
Blue hair.
Grayish blue.
Grayish blue, playing with my grandkids at the park. And I was bawling because I'm like, I have never visualized that ever for myself. Like I could see Isaac like as an older man with his kids. And I'm like, and I just broke down. And
Gross. Isaac had sex. Disgusting.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a little concerned for myself because I still I think I don't make goals too far in the future, and then I think the thought of children also seems weird. I'm like, I'm not gonna be here for that, or like I never really think like, oh, I'd never picture myself being old, or like, you know, I just don't see beyond like 40 for some reason. It's super weird, so I don't really think beyond that.
Yeah.
So I must still have to.
How do you feel
work
about
through
death?
that.
Like, do you guys ever think about your own death? Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
If I had the choice to know when I'm going to die, I would love that.
really?
Some people are like scared, like, no, I don't want to know. I'm like,
Yeah, I
dude,
wouldn't want to know.
I would love to know because then I know how, like,
You know how long you have.
exactly,
Yeah.
and I won't waste time. Like, if you told me, bitch, you're going to die next week, I'm going to take care of all
But
my
also,
shit.
if you also had like 40 more years, and you could be like, okay, well, actually, let me go ahead and like plan all these things out. Like, I
Yeah.
don't need to.
Dude, you know that actually reminds me, with this whole Kobe passing, I 2 nights ago, I didn't go to sleep till 3 a.m. because I got sucked into Vanessa and Kobe's Instagram page, and I was just like looking at all of their posts, and I was just crying. And then like I could see on Vanessa's page that she posted this video of them celebrating New Year's for 2020, and like they were just so happy and they were kissing, and I was just like, oh my god, like
Tomorrow's never promised.
exactly.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Crazy.
dude, in how many days? Like, you know, in less than a month, you're gonna be gone. Like that's so. It's just. And then for Gigi too, I'm seeing her like growing up, like a 13-year-old, her entire future ahead of her, and I just and like seeing like the posts getting closer and closer.
It's like what
to
you
the
know
day.
now is crazy.
Yeah.
I think I'm like, I don't want to die. I'm like super afraid of dying. I think that's why I have like such a fierce reaction to flying, because I feel like I'm gonna die when I'm in an airplane, and I don't want to die. So I'm like, the depression part of it's weird because I'm like, sometimes like I said, I don't see a future. Like I don't make plans. I don't have goals. I don't think too far ahead because like I just don't have that much like
Well, you
maybe
see yourself
self-love
maybe
or anything.
fading,
Yeah, it just kind of fades to black. But then when death is imminent or feels imminent,
Your
I don't
survival
want it.
mentality
Yeah, like
kicks in.
I'm scared as shit. Like I don't want
Dude,
to
that's
die.
true. Because for me, when I think about it, like, so I have these like random moments throughout my life that the intense realization that there's one day I will be gone. I will
feels
die.
weird, right?
It feels so heavy, and like it's just everything goes like,
Yeah.
like, you know, like, oh my god, I'm gonna die one day. When I have those moments, I get really, really, really scared. But
Yeah.
outside of those moments, and I think about me dying, I'm like, well, then that's gonna be my time, and I think I'll be okay. I could be okay with it. But then I get those moments and I'm like, no, wait, I'm not
Yeah,
ready.
I feel like I'm not afraid of death unless it's a freak accident, like on a plane or like during
I
childbirth
don't
or
want to
whatever.
feel it.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm not afraid of death. I just don't like not being in control. So maybe it's because of my grandma having Alzheimer's or whatever. But I feel like I would prefer the planned suicide thing where like when you first start to lose your mind, because the scariest thing is like not having Steve in the future. Like if he passes before me or something like that, like I can't imagine living without him. And I also just don't want to lose my mind or mental faculties.
Yeah, being trapped in your mind is scary.
Yeah, and then
Or
like
being if I'm like paralyzed from the neck down.
yes.
Yeah.
Like
From
if I was
so
ever
old that
Christopher
someone has
Reeve,
to
Someone has
like
to
wipe your ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would just rather be like, all right, I feel like everything's kind of deteriorating. if I have kids, I'll be like, y'all have like 2 months with me. And then we're going to do it on this day, on this time. I read about these two, I think they were scientists, either scientists or doctors. They were like really, really smart people, this couple, and they did that. And the article was about their kids talking about their experience with it, that like from a young age they told them that was how it was going to go down, and to like just mentally prepare for that. Like that the day was going to happen, that when they started losing their minds, like because they would do crossword puzzles every morning, they would do mental games and stuff, and when they first started thinking that they were losing their minds, like they weren't as sharp anymore.
Did they have a disease or something that they knew that was coming?
Yeah, like, well, no. They didn't have a disease, but just, as you age, you just deteriorate, like mentally, physically, everything. And so they were like, yeah, as soon as we start to recognize that with each other, we just have a pact that we'll plan a day while we still have all of like most of our mind intact, and we'll have one last dinner with all of you, and we're just going to take this pill and go.
Like, but they're not going to tell them when they're doing it. They're just going to have like this nice
No, they
dinner.
told them.
Oh, okay. But they're not going to tell them when, like the day of.
No, they knew.
Oh, okay, so they knew. So they're going to be at dinner knowing.
Did you guys watch Midsummer?
No.
It's a
That sounds
movie.
familiar. Wait,
That's a recent movie. So they had, I guess, like that movie, I think it was Sweden. I
I'm
forgot.
thinking of a different movie.
But yeah, they go to another country in Europe. I think it was Sweden. And they go into like this really, really, really remote village where it's like, it's pretty much like a cult. It's how they paint it. But the way that they end their life is that once they reach a certain age, they jump off a cliff.
Ooh.
And if they don't die, then they throw a boulder and like,
why don't you just take a pill?
to make sure they're dead.
Why would you do the
expensive.
worst type of death?
Because they paint it as if this is like a type of village that's been around for many centuries. Like that's just their tradition.
Like when I think of Hunger Games, I'm like, I'm eating those berries. I don't want to die by a sword or like someone killing me. Yeah, I'm like, I'm eating those berries immediately. I'll take my own self out. Like I don't like not being in control of how it's gonna go down.
Dude, that's how I am. Like I always joke with people, like if there's ever a fucking zombie apocalypse, I'm out.
Oh, you too?
All three of us.
Oh yeah,
all three of us are like
we got
that.
made fun of at JK.
dead weight.
We said we'd take
I'm dead weight too.
ourselves out.
I'm not doing shit. And like I can't survive if I can't get delivery.
Yeah.
If I can't get regular everyday things like DoorDash.
Yeah, DoorDash, I would die if I couldn't have it.
Yeah. Like, I mean, if there's like a zombie dash, I'm down. I suppose I could last for a little bit longer. But in the apocalypse, there is no DoorDash. And what is DoorDash, you ask? It's a food delivery service. And it has something for every lifestyle, whether you're still alive or you're a zombie. So you can order pickup and pass a line if you want to, or they can deliver it to your house. DoorDash brings all of America's flavors to your door. So if you're a lazy piece of shit like me, you can order food and it brings it directly to your door. All the flavors. Not only is your favorite pizza joint already on DoorDash, but there are over 310,000 Jesus Christ 310,000 restaurants partners in 4,000 cities.
You're gonna find your favorite for sure.
Crap, yeah.
There's that many cities? Come on.
With door-to-door delivery in all 50 US states, Puerto Rico, Canada, and Australia, you can order your local go-tos or choose from your favorite national restaurants like Chipotle, Wendy's, Chick-fil-A, and the dude, I love Cheesecake Factory.
Love Cheesecake Factory.
I was there last week.
Oh, me too. Who were you with?
Oh, shut up.
We were all there together.
We were literally there together.
How do I
we
get
should have
this?
been ordering.
Yeah, we could have ordered it to our houses.
That meeting could have been a phone call over DoorDash, you guys. With DoorDash, you'll never have to worry about your next meal. So now our listeners can get 5 doll hairs off their first order of $15 or more when you download the DoorDash app and enter the promo code BIGMOOD. That's one word. That's $5 off your first order when you download the DoorDash app in the App Store and enter promo code
Big mood.
Big Mood for $5 off.
And after you eat, you get pretty sleepy.
Oh, yeah.
You might want to relax a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Or if you're just thinking about death and you're having an anxiety attack and you really don't know how to sleep because you've just gone down the rabbit hole of existentialism, you can download the Calm app and just let yourself relax a little bit.
Yep.
I've actually had the Calm app for probably 3 years now, so I've seen it go through all of its little upgrades and all the things that they have. And my favorite thing is the master classes that they have. There are some little lectures on things like healthy habits, getting a good night's sleep, just different things about productivity, some little things to help you out. But the main point of the app is they have a ton of meditations. They have sleep stories that you can
I like how
listen
most people
to.
go there to relax and you go there to get lectured.
That's how she relaxes.
Their lectures are calming. Like the voices are still really calming.
Hot for teacher.
I am hot for teacher. There's a lot of women on there too, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There's women teachers too, Nikki. Gosh.
You could be hot for women teachers.
True. Calm is the #1 app for sleep, relaxation, and meditation. They have sleep stories, which are like bedtime stories for adults, if you hadn't figured that out yet. They also have soothing music. I actually like this one too. I always download or listen to the piano ones because those make me fall asleep really well. But they have soothing music from artists like Sam Smith. We all love Sam Smith.
Does he sing too? I wonder.
I haven't heard the ones with singing. I think I don't know if I'm wrong or not, but I think I saw some with Moby on there too. I was like,
fucking
where
love
has
Moby.
this fool been? I don't know. I could be wrong, but anyways, some
Too old. Let go. It's over.
I do. That's exactly what I thought. An Eminem reference.
Nobody listen to techno.
They have some breathing exercises and all kinds of stuff on there. So if you go to calm, CALM, .com/mood, you'll get a limited time offer of 40% off of a premium subscription, which includes hundreds of hours of programming.
Almost half off.
Yeah, that's almost half off. That's a great promo. Over 60 million people already use Calm. Join today and accomplish your goals tomorrow. For listeners of this show, again, they're offering a special limited time promotion, 40% off a Calm premium subscription at calm.com/mood. That's 40% off of unlimited access to their entire library. And they have all kinds of stuff. Calm.com/mood.
Get lectured today.
Yes.
God, if I ran
relax.
calm.com, the app, and it was April Fool's Day, I would change it to clam.com. And it's just all clams. And people are going to go to sleep like, what the fuck
I
is
thought
this?
you would change it to make it calm.calm.
Calm.com/mood.
Got him. I don't get any sales today.
It's going to be a
Hilarious.
fucking day full of just sounds of clams.
That's probably actually really relaxing.
That would be relaxing.
Spanish
Ocean
Maracas,
waves with a little...
Yeah, see? It's just all clams. Calm. Hire
Oh my
me.
gosh, have you seen the... Okay, this is totally off topic, but have you seen those videos of the Asian girls, like the mukbangers,
Yeah.
but they're eating those clams that look like big, long, kind of like...
I
Gooey
recently saw that.
And then they bite it, and then it
I almost
shoots
threw
out
up.
all
Yeah.
over them. What?
I almost
Gooey
threw
ducks.
up when I saw that.
Gooey ducks.
Maybe it popped up in my explore page because you
I
looked at
probably
it.
liked it. Yeah, I probably liked it. And then this girl, like, it picks up this huge clam and it's like hanging out of the shell, and she bites it. It looks like a penis, and then it squirts all over her face. And she's like purposely.
She knows what she's doing.
She knows what she's doing.
She's getting those clicks.
Yeah.
She knows.
Dude, this whole entire conversation sounds like when you fall asleep at a sleepover and then there's like two people.
It's like slowly progresses
still.
into the weird shit.
Yeah, they're like talking about existence and life
Dude,
and
we
death.
still
and
need to have a sleepover so you can actually experience
Oh, we're gonna have one.
I've never
We
had a slumber party.
We're gonna have it
I've
planned.
always wanted a tarot card reading. I don't know.
I had it
too.
once.
I want a palm
Once.
reading, tarot card
I
reading.
just
I want
wanna
to
do
do
all
a
tea
medium.
The tea.
Oh, yeah, the
I haven't
tea
done
leaves.
that. I've definitely done tarot cards. I used to go to this one girl every year just because like a fun New Year's thing to see like what's my year gonna be like or whatever. And the reason I went to the same person every time is because sometimes it'd be dead on, and I don't really think like, oh, they can tell me my future.
Right.
It was more of a fun thing
Yeah.
to like see if like they get anything right. But she actually like predicted Steve one time, like when I was single, and like she described him exactly and also described his energy as being like a really protective energy, and he's exactly like that. And she kind of said like the month that he would be there and the time it would happen, and it happened exactly the way she said, but she didn't say his name, and she was like, it's someone that you know already. And I was like,
That's pretty
what
spot
the
on.
fuck? And I was looking at my friends list on Facebook.
You're like, well, I guess I
back then
gotta
it was
fuck one of these
I was
guys.
like, ew, I don't like any of these guys. But I didn't think of him because he was in a relationship
Yeah.
at that time, so he was off the list. I was looking at all the single dudes and I was like,
You're like,
hell
oh.
no.
I want to go
Gross.
so bad. You know what stops me from going is all the stories you hear about how they'll like get your money, or they'll like find ways to like get you to keep paying money, or they'll threaten you in some way. And I'm like, man, I don't know these gangster ass bitches. I don't know,
Miss
like
Cleo
I don't
bitch.
want to invite it into my life because I don't know how fucking.
Those are the ones with like the signs on their lawn and stuff, and like they have, like, the
Dude, I always wonder how those places stay in business.
too.
It's like a janky little like one square box with a
It's
sign.
because they get those like little old ladies in there. They get their
God.
purses, and then they keep paying them thousands of dollars every month because they tell them, oh, if you don't give me money, the
Asian people
spirits are
love
going to
that
get
shit.
you.
Yeah, I want to know how they can afford corner lots. It's always like this
Yeah.
big ass lawn on a
Just
corner.
like on Melrose or like some
Yeah.
famous street. I'm like,
That's
this
'cause
rent.
they got celebrities to get
Yeah.
you.
That's crazy.
No, that one time that I did the tarot card reading, she told me that at the time there were these two guys in my life. One is like lighter skin and the other one's darker skin, and they have the same name. And I was like, what the hell? How did you know? It was true. Because at that time I really was talking to two guys, and she ends up telling me like, you're gonna end up, she's like, your heart wants to go with the lighter skin guy, but you're gonna actually end up with the darker skin guy. You're not gonna be really happy. And I was like, what? But because I was like thinking about this, and I'm like, nah, this is dumb. This ain't true. Oh, and then the last thing she told me was that the third love in your life is gonna
it's a bra.
it's gonna be oh yeah, I'm wearing it too, by the way. Anyway, is gonna be the guy that you marry. So I'm like, really?
Is it like she said all these things and it's now subconscious and you make it happen unconsciously?
That's exactly what I have wanted to believe all along, but deep down inside, that part of me that I can't really control, and it's like, damn it, I do believe, but you don't want to believe.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was true, because the darker skinned dude ended up being Isaac's dad, and the lighter skinned dude was like the one that got away. Like for many years, like I kind of didn't get over that guy. And then yeah, like sure enough, the third love that I've had was Casey. Like he was the third person in my life that I was very serious with, and we got married. So I'm like, yeah, I don't know if it's really like spot on.
I mean, also you can't control Casey too, so it's kind of interesting that you did
but you know, it's a
get
trip.
proposed to.
So Casey and I started talking in May, right? May of 2012. That Halloween, I had a house party, and I got so drunk, and for some reason we ended up in the bathroom. I think I was like fixing something, my makeup or something, but I was pretty wasted. And like by then I think I already knew, I don't know if we had already told each other we loved each other. And I started telling him about this, like this tarot card reader person. I'm like, you know what's crazy? You're the third guy in my life, like since she said that, and da-da-da. And I was just
You
like,
have to marry me now.
no, I didn't say that, but I was just like, wouldn't it be crazy if like that was true and like we'd end up marrying? And then he told me later on, like years later, that like me saying that kind of freaked him out but got him excited, because he wanted that to be true.
Your future wife.
Yeah, isn't that fucking
He
cute?
hired her, dude. I'm fucking telling you.
like
his
10 years
auntie.
earlier.
It was his Chinese auntie. He's like, I got you, baby.
It was a
like,
Mexican lady.
You style.
yeah, right.
Where he like
Planted it.
all.
Damn, even before I got pregnant with Isaac.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
He was spying on you from across the street. He was a neighbor.
Damn. But yeah, that was like the closest thing I had. There was this other one too, where I had this coworker at a hospital that I worked at, and she said that she could read people's palms, and then so she ends up, I mean, this one I think is complete bullshit, but whatever, we'll see. But she ended up saying like, oh yeah, I could see your son in my palm for some reason. She could see my son's future, and she said that my son is going to be really handsome and have all these ladies on him, and that he's going to be making lots of money and be very successful. And I'm like, okay,
That's
lady.
so generic.
Exactly. And I'm like
it'd be different if she was like, he's gonna be a banker and he's gonna work at this bank on this street, and
But just in case it does happen, Isaac, take care of your Thea.
Dude, I feel like for an episode, like a YouTube type style video, we should bring in a medium or like a tarot card reader or something
Yeah.
like that.
kind of like what you did with yours.
She starts screaming.
Yeah. She just like, she sees the fucking devil card pops up.
let's have a slumber party.
Yeah.
Let's invite a tarot person.
I'm like, see, the thing about those is like, what if like I'm in a relationship already, and she goes, yeah, that's not the one, sweetheart.
Oh, I know.
And it becomes like a self-fulfilling thing.
True.
And I'll be like,
It's like Inception. accepted in
plants
your
a
brain.
seed in your brain.
Yeah.
That actually did happen to me. So I was like really in love with, back when I was with my ex, it was the same girl, like, but it was the year before she was talking about Steve. So it was the year before I was with my ex, and I was really in love with him, super in love, but I felt hurt constantly. Like he would always do mindfuck games and I couldn't like quite prove it, and like I felt very like he was gaslighting me all the time, and like I just felt like I knew he was, it was kind of toxic, but I couldn't stop loving him. So I'm like, we're supposed to be together then. And she told me that, she's like, it was the same thing, because I wanted her to say, you guys are meant to be together and you're just working through this or whatever. But she goes, all right, you're not supposed to be with this guy like forever, but you're supposed to be with him for at least another year.
Whoa.
And through this year, you're going to hit like the lowest lows and the highest highs. And what it's going to do is like deepen your emotional capabilities. Like you'll feel depths of emotion that you've never felt before. And you'll be able to use that in your future, like for your path. Like it's meant to be for your path. Like you're supposed to be able to pull from these emotional depths to help other people with. And I was like, what the fuck? So I'm not gonna be with him in a year.
You missed the whole She's like, wait, I'm supposed to be with him
But
though.
what's the point? Like, so I
so
know we're
funny.
gonna break up in a year. And I was like set on proving her wrong, that like,
Of course.
we're gonna be together. Like, because we'd have these crazy fights and then we'd make up, and I feel like he got me more than any other person. And I'm like, there's no way I'm supposed to be with anyone else. And then like, yeah, like a year later, like I find out he's cheating on me, which is like the last straw. He did so many other things that should have been the last straw, but it was really the cheating that like made it the last straw. And it took me a while to get over him, but then I saw her and she was talking about this guy that I knew already that was going to be the one. And I was like, these fucking guys, you had no way. And then,
Damn, who is this lady? I'm like asking for all
You
these.
invite her to our sleepover?
Yeah, I'll see.
You still know her?
Yeah, she ended up becoming, like when I first started going to her, it was like 2010, and I would just go once or twice a year. And she like was just a small, like was in this small little thing that sold like crystals and stuff,
Like a
and
plaza kind of
yeah, and I don't even remember how I found her. Oh yeah, because they had a tea room in there, and I was just checking out their tea room because I'd never been to one before, and then they had like a psychic in the back, and I'm like, okay. But yeah, so she ended up being like a celebrity psychic. Like she became like very successful, and she recently opened
All I'm
up
hearing
her
is
own
expensive.
place.
True.
Yeah, I think she is.
Will she
more-
give you an old school
more
discount?
expensive now? Maybe.
So do you see her? When was the last time
I
you saw her?
haven't seen her in like 2-3 years, but
Damn.
Yeah,
So does
dude,
she know that Steve, like, because you've
Yeah.
been married long enough,
Yeah,
so she
yeah.
knows that it came true.
yeah,
Cool.
and she's met him too.
Oh.
Yeah.
I told you, bitch.
Yeah.
What does Steve say about her?
He likes her. He's like, oh, she's like very positive. Like he like gets good vibes off people. Like
Will he let her read him?
no.
Oh.
He's just like, I think he's kind of closed off to that stuff. so.
Yeah. I feel like I'm kind of closed off too, but then I kind of still want to do it, but I'm kind of still closed off to it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like, if
I
we
mean-
were to have her, I'll just be like, can you read it? If it's bad, can you not tell me?
Yeah.
You have to
just,
just
like,
take it with a
figure it
grain of
out and
salt
throw. Yeah.
and like take it like as entertainment. And then if something like happens from it, you're like, oh well, that's crazy. Like it can't.
I guess
you can't
I'm
put all
afraid-
your eggs in it.
I'm afraid of like being like, that is so, it is actually true. And I'm going to live my life by what this person says. I'm scared because I feel myself easily like slipping into that
Like getting
crazy
swayed.
town.
Yeah,
Like a self-fulfilling
the
prophecy.
dude that I went to, remember how you told me like you need to start hosting shows? Literally, like a week later was when I got a call from Machinima saying, "Hey, we want to give you your own live show."
Dang.
And I sat there, I was
Whoa.
like, what the fuck? And that was like the beginning of my streaming career and like video like, and YouTube and everything career. So it was fucking wild.
You know what's crazy too,
No, wait,
though?
no, that's
I'm
true.
saying all of this, but because I started like thinking to myself and I'm like, I am a strong believer of destiny. Like, I do believe that anything that's meant to happen, it will find a way to make it happen. Like,
Yeah.
everything that we experience in life and everyone's journey, it might be different. Like, it's not going to be like exactly calculated to the T of what you're going to do. I don't think it's that crazy, but I do believe that major events in your life that happen, it's because they were gonna happen. They're meant to happen.
I kind of
So-
hate that though, because then it's like some people have the shittiest fucking lives, and it's just like, well, that was destiny.
But I don't think
You had
it's-
no option.
I think there's free will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there is enough to like sway it. Like, I'm saying,
like you can go this way or you can go this way, kind of
Yeah.
thing. Because then like some people just get like they're like in fucking like slave prostitution and all that shit, and they just die. And I'm like, was that their destiny? That's fucked up.
Steve used to have a dream like about this street that he had never seen before, where he was in his 30s and he died in the dream, like he got shot at gunpoint. And he used to have that dream over and over again since he was 12.
Oh my God.
And
until his birthday.
he moved and he saw that street like when he was so he had the dream at first when he was in Virginia, and then when he moved to California he saw that street. It's in San Diego, and he kept having those dreams throughout his entire life. And he told me about them, and he's like, he was in a limo, and like it was almost like
limo?
he was like some sort of like,
it was you, limo.
He was inside of me.
Leo's gonna kill him.
But yeah,
Don't ever walk down that street with him. That's what it is.
This thing happened that I stopped him from going to, and we think that might have he stopped having the dreams after that, and then he became the age that he was in the dream, and it didn't happen obviously, but like there was this one event that I feel like could have been a catalyst to him
going
Getting
there.
shot?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Which I won't talk about here, but yeah, it's pretty nuts. Like we had a friend that was like, oh yeah, you definitely would have been dead if you went to that.
What?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Because he knows like some FBI people. It was crazy. Yeah. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this episode. We thought we'd try something a little different today, and
Different mood.
Let us know how you deal with loss and all this stuff, because I'm sure there's a lot of people in the comments that can relate, and you have different stories than we do, and we love that. We love reading all of that. So
Oh yeah, tell us your supernatural stories, because I really want to read that stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't
weird shit that's
comment
happened.
much, but I'm always kind of scrolling through and reading it. So I
Same.
love to read that stuff.
Yeah.
we'd be snooping on those comments.
If I ever die, I'm gonna happy haunt you guys. It's gonna be great.
Let us know if we should have a sleepover too, and have like a
True.
tarot
We
card reader
definitely
come
need to have that happen.
Yeah.
I mean, we're like so
Scary.
close
I
already.
know.
Yeah.
So I'm ready for it.
Subscribe, like, all that stuff, review,
Yes.
and we'll see you next
Check out our
time.
merch too.
Bye.
Bye.
Imagine if she tells me you're gonna be pregnant. I'm like, fuck you.